Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, just days after the recent power outage at NAIA Terminal 3, aviation officials have announced the shutdown of Philippine airspace for a few hours to pave the way for maintenance works. Philippine Airlines spokesperson Cielo Villaluna joins us live. Also, as COVID-19 cases continue to increase, is it about time to bring back the mandatory face mask policy? Health Officer in Charge and Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere tells us more in the program. Airport officials and other stakeholders will meet today to discuss the 6-hour shutdown of the country's airspace on May 17. The shutdown will take place from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. due to a maintenance activity. Earlier this morning, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines also conducted a 2-hour maintenance work at the air traffic management system. It says the activity was completed without disruption and that flight operations are normal. These developments follow the New Year's Day air traffic mess and this Monday's power outage at the NAIA International Airport Terminal 3. Our senior correspondent, George Cahiles, has the details.
The situation at the NAIA Terminal 3 has somewhat normalized following the chaos on Labor Day. Dozens of flights were either canceled or delayed due to the sudden power outage early morning Monday. Passengers were stranded. Some of them opted to stay at the airport while waiting for their flights to be rebooked soonest, like this family bound for Cagayan de Oro City. The senior citizens among them were already booked for the afternoon and evening flights on Tuesday. But as for the rest of the family, they were asked to wait until May 4th.
Wala kami, ano mang natulong nila sa amin. Kami pa may nang pagkusang nakikiusap na ganyan. Kailangan uwi na talaga kami. Kaya mahirap magtira dito.
Sana po matulungan mo po kami nga masingit lang po. Kahit chance passenger lang. Bahala kung hindi na kami sabay-sabay. At least masingit lang po.
Para dun sa mga pasahero, we are working now with our public assistance team together with the terminal management in Cebu Pacific. We're looking for ways kung paano natin mapaaga ang kanilang ang travel plans.
The Manila International Airport Authority or MIAA says another power outage took place at the NAIA Terminal 3 around 3:59 in the afternoon of Monday due to electricity fluctuation. Power was restored after more than 20 minutes. The Transport Department has already created an interagency task force to investigate the power outages on May 1st. Meanwhile, authorities are preparing for the scheduled maintenance activities of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or CAAP on its Air Traffic Management System or ATMS. The maintenance downtime is set on May 3rd from 2 to 4 a.m. and on May 17th from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. Philippine Airlines has initially announced flight schedule changes Tuesday night until early morning of Wednesday. PAL says passengers with concerns regarding their flight schedule changes may opt to rebook, refund, or convert their fare into travel fund.
Sa 17, mas malaki yung impact kasi it will be for several hours. Tapos wala talagang activity on Philippine airspace. That was coordinated already last week. Because we know that we need lead time for the airlines to be able to recalibrate their schedules.
On Wednesday, a meeting among stakeholders will take place to set their plans regarding the 6-hour maintenance activity on May 17th.
It's the whole Philippine airspace. So, kasama namin Davao, Cebu, Clark, CAAP, halos lahat ng airports kasi para malaman namin kung ano yung mga issues nila. So it's a major activity that we're going to do.
The MIAA says CAAP may shorten their maintenance activity to allow the resumption of airport operations as soon as possible. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
And let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Philippine Airlines spokesperson Cielo Villaluna. Ma'am Cielo, welcome to the source. Thank you so much for your time. Let's begin with the scheduled maintenance of CAAP on the air traffic management system. I want to start with the one that happened this morning from 2 to 4 a.m. Were there any problems? How many flights were affected?
All right, Pinky, thank you for your question. Regarding the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. maintenance check of CAP on their system, this enabled Philippine Airlines to revise the flight departures and arrivals of certain flights. We already carried out plus delays and in terms of departures and arrivals. So this covered 28 flights, both domestic and international. Because you see, Pinky, we start operating early morning flights as early as 3:30 in the morning. Since the scheduled maintenance was scheduled up to 4 a.m. as announced several days ago, we already planned the delays and the arrivals. And as a result, the good news was they even finished the calibration as early as 3:57. So they were ahead of schedule. And after that,
Ma'am Cielo,
yes.
they were ahead of schedule by what, 3 minutes?
3 minutes. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, you're correct, Pinky. So 3 minutes, and because of that, we cannot revert to the original schedule because we already had informed passengers of the planned delays. So far, we will be implementing, and we are implementing the delays of the 28 flights throughout the day. So everything is fine because passengers have been well informed way ahead.
So may I clarify, so between this 2 to 4 a.m., my understanding, as you had explained, is that 28 flights were affected. When you say affected, because we were playing on the screen, some flights were mounted earlier, some flights had an hour delay. Does this mean all these 28 flights have already been mounted? Have they been flown?
They are currently being flown.
Currently.
So far, based on the latest count, we have around more than a dozen flights that are affected that have already been flown on a delayed schedule. And these delays, as I mentioned, were planned delays, and passengers are already informed.
Right.
So we will be implementing the rest of these planned delays throughout the day. That is for May 3, but of course we have the bigger issue on May 17, as you have announced earlier, Pinky.
Yeah, but Ma'am Cielo, I guess what I want to find out about this, 12 are now being flown among the 28 flights. The 16 are also, I guess, on the way at some point, no? Well, at least I found out about this yesterday during the press conference, but I heard you say a while ago that the airlines were informed much earlier.
Yes, the airlines were informed during the last week of the third week of April about what will happen on May 3. Because there is a revenue meeting and composed of the DOTR, the CAAP, the MIAA, and other airline stakeholders, and they inform it informs the body of the plan. So the May 3 and May 17 recalibration, or what we call the maintenance check on the radar systems, have been planned as early as last month.
I see.
So
Okay.
airlines are informed.
So there was ample time, especially for the flights that were going to be affected, the 28 flights that were going to be affected between 2 to 4 a.m. Okay, good. So you were told about this. You didn't have any problems. I mean, what were the concerns of the airlines regarding these 2 days of maintenance checks or concerns with CAAP? Surely, Ma'am Cielo, the 2 to 4 a.m., I'm sure that's still a lot of flights. That's still 28 flights. But I can't imagine what will happen on May 17 because that's from 12 midnight to 6 a.m., which covers 6 hours. What are your biggest concerns?
Okay, just to clarify, the airport runways, Pinky, every day normally close from 12 midnight to 3 o'clock for repair work, checking the runway, checking the garage of your vehicle. So here you're dealing with aircraft. So you're checking the condition of the runway. So that is standard, even under normal circumstances. What was crucial was the 3 to 4 period because we mount flights as early as 3. So that led to the planned delays. So far, the concerns, there were no concerns operationally. The concerns focused on passengers whom I heard some did not know about the delays of their flights because you see passengers when they book a ticket, Pinky, they leave their flight, their contact details either through email or their mobile phones. But if they book through other channels, like let's say through travel agencies or other channels, then these channels have to relay to passengers as well. So these are the concerns. There were several passengers who appeared at the airport early this morning, totally surprised that their flight was delayed by 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So these are the things that, the good thing is they were relieved that their flights were not canceled, but totally surprised about the delays. So these are expected, Pinky.
It's the lesser of two evils, basically, Ma'am Shelo. I know. But, okay, so that was still the 2 to 4 a.m. Okay. Another issue there, I guess, would be, as you mentioned a while ago, no, it's either you book through PAL, for example, through the hotline, or you do it through the website of PAL. A lot of, I would say, a number of passengers kasi possibly will not look at their emails, no? So, is it mandatory for PAL or its booking partners to siguro just text passengers? Because, as I mentioned a while ago, sometimes we just don't look at our emails.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, our customer experience team carried out a text brigade. They texted passengers, so they sent messages via SMS. So that's one option. Another option is the email notification. The passengers can check their emails. That is standard. These are automatically sent out because this is system generated. The moment the administrator logs into the reservation system that this flight is canceled, then the system will search the passenger name records and spot the email address and automatically send. That's system generated. But of course, this gives an opportunity to share with all your televiewers, your listeners, that we have a flight status page on our website, www.philippineairlines.com. All they have to do is log onto that page and type in their flight number, and they will find out if their flights are green and gold.
Yeah,
so that's another option.
Yeah, that's something that we should get ourselves used to. Para on time, or you actually find out the progress of the flight. Ma'am Shelo, thank you so much. Just very, very quickly, on May 17, though, that's from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. So 12 to 3 is the maintenance every day of the runway. So that's still a 3-hour possible problem, no, for flights. Just quick, how many flights will be affected on May 17, totaling how many passengers?
Okay, so for May 17, based on my latest check this morning, from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. for international flights, under normal circumstances, we operate 18 international arrivals and departures. This does not include the domestic sector. So if you include the domestic sector, it would total around 38 to 40 flights.
Okay.
So as to the number of passengers, we do not have the actual count, but you can just imagine the number of passengers 40 flights would entail.
Yeah.
So with regards to what will happen on May 17, to all your listeners who have flights on May 17, we will carry out steps to protect you, either by rebooking you on the next available flights, giving you options, or delaying your departures and delaying the arrivals. And we will make the announcements accordingly, Pinky.
Maraming salamat, PAL spokesperson Cielo Villaluna. And coming up, COVID-19 infections in the country are rising. What could be driving this increase? DOH officer in charge, Maria Rosario Vergere, will join us after the break. Please stay tuned.